Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I was out on the weekend. I didn't get very many good shots. Right now I'm in the backyard. I have got the Laowa 100mm 2.8 Dreamer lens. I think I talked about this before and how much I've been really wanting to get it. And I got my diffuser. Now I have taken some macro shots and I got some good ones, but I'm finding with this lens, and particularly because the software I have for my post-production isn't very good for focus stacking. From what I've been watching and finding out about, I can't remember the name of the software, but there's this other software I can use. I'll post it up on the top here, because I just can't remember the name of it right now, but that's what a lot of people are using for doing their focus stacks. I've watched two guys on YouTube and they're both using that software. I just can't remember the name of it right now. Without that software, I can't really do any focus stacking, because when you're trying to take a picture of an image, say about here, and you're trying to, because the lens doesn't have autofocus, what you have to do is you have to get your subject in view, and then when you start the burst, you slowly move forward with the camera. Like that, moving forward there would actually be way too much. So when you do that, you're going from front to back. You're going from front to back and doing your burst, and then you stitch them all together and focus stack them. And I've tried doing that and I've had absolutely no luck. I might have gotten 3 images that I was able to focus stack. For the most part, the guys that are doing this, they're focus stacking like upwards of 100 images. On average, I would say they're usually focus stacking 40 images altogether. I have not even attempted to try that. My hand isn't as steady as some of these other younger photographers in macro photography. I'm in the backyard right now. What I am trying to, because I do have them in the backyard, are those little zebra jumping spiders. I saw some earlier and they've all gone. They've all disappeared. That's so normal. When you bring the camera out, everything just disappears. I did notice some around the other side of the house. I'm going to get the camera set up here. 1/200th of a second is what I'm using. The flash is the newer Z880N, and I'm actually finding it very good. So I have it at the flash to match the shutter speed. I have it at 1/16th. I'm not sure how that works, but from what I've been watching on YouTube, this setting should work with the shutter speed set at 1/200th. Now I'm gonna set the aperture at f8, because f2.8, it gives you a shallower depth of field. So f8 I find fine, and I can get away without having to focus stack when I use f8. If I was using f2.8, then I would definitely have to do the movement forward and try to stitch them all together. So f8, and I have the ratio set to 2:1. So because the jumping spiders they're literally about that small. They're so small. So I'm going to try this now and I'll see how I make out. So not having much luck here. There was a zebra spider and he was a good size, but he just was moving around too much, and I didn't have the settings quite right on the camera. To review the settings here, you're going to want to definitely make sure, like I tried f11 and I think it was a little bit too dark. So shutter speed 1/200th, ISO 64. Might want to increase that a little bit, because I'm trying not to be in the sun. I'm trying to do it in the shaded area, so I could increase the ISO to maybe ISO 200 to 400, somewhere around there. Maybe I'll set that now. You're going to want to make sure whatever you were doing with the camera before, like I had a delay on, so I turned the delay off. You're going to want to make sure your release mode is set to, on the Nikon, I have it set to continuous H extended. There's continuous high. I have it on continuous high extended and continuous low, and then your single frame. But for this, because this kind of photography is like, you don't have to travel anywhere, you can just go in your backyard like what I'm doing right now. But the problem with this photography is getting your subject in view, and then you're going to do it in a burst. Like when you have it set on continuous high, you just hold the shutter button down and it'll take at 1/200th, it'll do 10 shots per second. And then the flash is matched to that, so the flash will go off 10 times every second. The problem is trying to find a subject, because they like the heat, the jumping spiders. It's still pretty warm out right now. There was another spider. It wasn't a jumping spider. It was sort of looked like a black widow, but it wasn't a black widow, thank God. I don't think they're around here. And I got a couple of shots at that, but it was kind of upside down, so not the greatest position to capture that image. I'll definitely show the shots that I have gotten. I'm hoping I can get something right now, so I'm just going to keep at it for a little bit longer. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I found I guess it was a juvenile zebra spider. He was really small, and his stripes weren't very well defined. Like, I swear, on the fence about 2-3 weeks ago, we had a warm spell. We've had some really crappy weather. That's one of the other reasons why I haven't been out in such a long time. But about 3 weeks ago, when I first got the lens, I think it was around May 4th or the 13th. Some of the shots I have are from the 13th. There was a zebra spider on the fence, and he was big. Like, he was, but I was so inexperienced with the setup, and I was so excited when I saw the spider, and I totally screwed up. I didn't get a single shot in focus. So with practice and with the settings I'm using, like f8, because I don't want to go f2.8. When I did set the ISO, I set it to 400, and it was way too much. It was way too bright, and everything was so overexposed. So I put it down to ISO 100, and that seemed to work pretty good. And then, so f8, and the shutter speed is 1/200. Oh, and that's the other thing. I forgot to set, because you're going to want to set your crop to a 1. You can set it as a 1:1, 5:4, which is 30 by 24. I think I found the 1:1 crop, or the DX mode 24:16 is actually pretty good. The 1:1 crop is 24 by 24. You're going to want to have that set. If you have it set in FX, that's not going to work, because you're not going to be able to get as close a picture as you would like. And then I'm going to have to crop my images, because the subject never remained in center, but I reviewed them on the back of the camera and they were definitely in focus, so those worked out pretty good. So I'll show the ones I just took, and the other original ones I've taken that turned out really good. This type of photography is incredibly challenging. You walk away so frustrated half the time because none of your images are in focus, but if you pay attention and you make sure you have the settings right on the camera. So for this right now, like I said, I'm not focus stacking, so f8 works really good for that, because it gives a better depth of field. And then the shutter speed, everything else would be the same even if you were focus stacking. So your shutter speed is 1/200th of a second. ISO 100 works good in the shade. The flash is set at 1/16th to match the shutter speed. 1:1 crop. On the Nikon, it's continuous high extended for burst photography, so I don't know what it is on Canon or Fujifilm, I'm not sure, but that's what it is for the Nikon. All right, so, oh geez, like I do find this more challenging, although for my landscape photography, and I haven't really done much abstract lately, but for the landscape photography, I did do a little spiel that I was going to put on YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that now. What I was mentioning in that video was I'm going to have to start planning my trips, because that's the problem, is I was itching to get out on the weekend. I hadn't been out in about a month. I had a plan, but my plan failed because what I was trying to do is I was trying to find the red trilliums. Missed trillium season again, and it was all because of the weather. The weather was so crappy. I didn't think that they would bloom because it was so cold and so rainy, but they actually bloomed, and I could see them rotting on the ground. So missed trillium season again, so I'll have to wait for next year for that. I found a few more spots on Google Maps that I might try and go to for some planned outings. Summer's just starting. It is the end of May. I think we got a week left. No, end of May is this Friday is the 30th of May. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to be able to get out and do some more, and definitely want to do some macro photography out in the field. Not just spiders, but mushrooms, flowers, other insects. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. I love doing this. Okay guys, so I'm going to post the photos that I've taken just now and the ones that I had in the past. Give the channel a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.